and they were eager to reach out to their neighbors to tell them about Jesus. At about the same time Dave told me about his campus's success in serving their community, I attended a conference and heard a tired line from 30 years ago. If your church disappeared, would anyone in the community notice? But when I heard it that time, it really hit me. In fact, I didn't think many people in our cities would notice if a lot of churches suddenly vanished. Instantly, I realized that what Dave and his church were doing was a powerful way to have an impact on a city, so they could be seen as an asset instead of a cipher. That moment was the spark, and then came the vision, the motivational fire, and the implementation. I became a sponge to soak up everything Dave could tell me about how he was mobilizing and motivating his people to be involved in caring for people outside his church. We eventually launched these efforts at our 11 campuses. The impact was clear and powerful on those we served and on our people. From there, the idea spread organically as I spoke about it at conferences, coached pastors through our coaching arm, Church Boom, and had conversations with pastors and church leaders throughout the country. I'm not sure when someone came up with the label, but soon we called the effort Love Where You Live. Enthusiasm and creativity have been hallmarks of the movement. People want to make a difference, and it seems they're just waiting for someone to say, "Hey, come with me. Together we'll meet needs and warm hearts in the neighborhoods around us." This isn't a top-down strategy. Every person has a network of connections, so every person can offer suggestions about new ways to care for people. I've noticed that people who have been touched by the heart of Jesus are eager for him to use them to serve others. They just need the opportunity. As I write this, I think about a conversation I had recently with 4 pastors in San Diego. They told me their churches are struggling to find ways to connect with people in their city to serve them and communicate the love of Jesus. After they explained their frustration, I smiled and told them, "I think I've got something for you." That's a snapshot of dozens of similar conversations I've had with church leaders across the country. Love Where You Live has revolutionized how I see the impact of the church, and this movement, like all movements, has developed a life of its own. The more we've participated in this way of serving, the more it makes perfect sense. I've drawn 2 main conclusions. First, it seems very obvious. Isn't this what Jesus would do? Isn't this what Jesus did? In the Gospels, we see him out in the community caring for people far more than we see him in synagogues. He didn't wait for people to come to him. If he was with us today, wouldn't he spend a lot of time with people who aren't in church, not to chastise them, but to love them where they live? Second, church leaders are always looking for a competitive edge. What makes their churches different and attractive? Today, bands, sound systems, lighting, and videos are standard equipment in most churches. They were new once, but no more. But if pastors lead their people to serve in the community, all of them will discover their unique contribution and their unique attraction. All leaders are looking for their USP, their ultimate strategic position. In other words, what will make their organization stand out? Why would someone choose them instead of one of the many other options? I'm convinced Love Where You Live, LWYL, is an ultimate strategic position for any church. When I explained these 2 points to the pastors in San Diego, their eyes lit up. They know they aren't better speakers than other pastors near them, their bands aren't that much better, and the same is true for their lighting, creative arts, children's church, and everything else. The pastors said they don't know any churches that have established a reputation for caring for people outside the walls of their churches. But I do. What kind of reputation? Churches that are using this method of outreach have very positive articles written about them in local papers. They receive awards. Their leaders are asked to speak at civic events, and they get kind notes from school principals, mayors, city council members, hospital administrators, and leaders of nonprofit organizations. For any particular church, that kind of reputation may be much different, much